You may have noticed a few things hiding in the background, but there's no way you caught them all. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 Easter eggs and references in a series of unfortunate events.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we're only looking at Easter eggs that are so subtle that readers might not even notice, or allusions to other media.
If she's so good at fortune telling, why does she live out here in the hinterlands instead of having her own television show in the city?
I tried that for 9 years. Look where it got me.
Number 10. The Pony Party.
If you're interested in stories with a happy ending, you've come to the right place.
The second season opens with Mr. Poe on the phone to his boss. He's discussing a popular book he's been reading lately, The Pony Party, the first book in a series called The Luckiest Kids in the World, written by MsMojo, about 3 children who go to a party with cake and ponies.
It features the 3 luckiest children in the world who are darling and precocious and have one of the most cheerful things happen to them. It's called the Pony Party, and I can't put it down, Mr. Tamerlane.
Of course, MsMojo is an anagram for Lemony Snicket. And this book isn't a real book, but rather a sly reference to the reverse cover from Lemony Snicket, the Unauthorized Autobiography, another book by Daniel Handler, the real author of a series of unfortunate events. Number 9. Nero. At the end of Season 1, Lemony Snicket explains hypnosis while watching Jacqueline play the violin.
And a man who, upon hearing the word Nero, could suddenly play an instrument he'd never studied.
Dolores, put down that violin.
This is in reference to the talentless Vice Principal Nero of Proof Rock Preparatory School, who forces the students to attend his mandatory nightly violin recitals.
Of course, this does not excuse you from missing my nightly violin recital. You're going to owe me a lot of candy.
This is both a reference to the Roman Emperor Nero, who according to legend played the fiddle while Rome burned around him, and a suggestion that Dr. Orwell hypnotized Nero to believe he can play the instrument every time he hears his own name.
My name is Vice Principal Nero, and my second highest concern is that you uphold the strict academic standards here at Proof Rock Preparatory School.
What's your first highest concern?
My career as a violinist.
Number 8. Handler and the Harrises.
A girl whose body does a freaky thing we call contortion.
She looks completely normal, only to the untrained eye.
Daniel Handler has a sly cameo of his own in 3 episodes of Season 1, as a fishmonger working at Damocles' dock selling fish heads. This leads to a meta joke as Mr. Poe searches for the Baudelaires and exclaims, "It's off book." A reference to the fact that in the books, Mr. Poe does not lose the children.
It's off book. It's unfortunate. The Baudelaires are lost and unsupervised. Do you know what that means?
Without supervision.
As well, in the second season, Neil Patrick Harris's real-life husband and children, David Burtka and Gideon and Harper, appear in the audience of Caligari Carnival, heckling the ringmaster Count Olaf as they watch the performance.
I have a question. Is this legal?
Don't spoil the fun, boy. If you're going to ask a bunch of complicated questions, you might as well wait in my car.
Number 7. The Shining. It's no surprise that there are multiple references to one of the most iconic horror novels and movies of all time. First, in Season 1 when Olaf, disguised as Captain Sham, chases Aunt Josephine through the house and announces his own version of the moment where Jack Nicholson declares "Here's Johnny" as he breaks down a door with an axe.
Here's Shammy.
Then again in Season 2, the person of indeterminate gender bashes through a wall in Heimlich Hospital and announces,
Here I am, Nurse Lucafon.
If that wasn't enough, the white-faced women also appear in a corridor and say "Come and play with us," just like the movie's creepy Grady twins.
Come and play with us, Daddy.
Number 6. Harpoon Gun.
I beg your pardon, but is that a harpoon gun?
In Season 1, we see Baudelaire ally Jacqueline threatening Count Olaf with a harpoon gun after rescuing them from his clutches. A harpoon gun which actually has a major role in the books.
Adorable.
Is that a harpoon gun? You'd never use it.
We next see it in the second season, when it's used by Esme Squalor as she attempts to shoot down the self-sustaining hot air mobile home. Subsequently, she and Detective Dupin are ejected from the village of foul devotees for possessing a mechanical device, i.e. the harpoon gun.
Is that harpoon gun mechanical? She's breaking rule number 67. She's capturing murderers, you square!
But keep your eyes peeled, because it's set to make another important appearance when the third season adapts The Penultimate Peril. Number 5. The Carved Heart. Very briefly, we see a carving in the top of the saloon bar during the Vile Village Part 1 of a heart which reads Olaf Plus, and then the names of 3 women all crossed out. First is Olaf plus Josephine, a reference to Josephine Entwistle, whom Olaf seduces during the wide window disguised as Captain Sham. The second is Olaf plus Georgina, a reference to the evil optometrist Georgina Orwell, Olaf's ex, who we see in The Miserable Mill. And finally, an almost illegible name beginning with a K, speculated to be Kit as in Kit Snicket, the Snicket sister who aids the Baudelaires in the books and also dated Olaf. Number 4. Medusoid Mycelium. We're first introduced to Medusoid Mycelium when Justice Strauss shows the Baudelaires around her library in The Bad Beginning.
It's mostly law books, but there's sections on everything from Italian cuisine to the world's most threatening fungus.
This fungus will take on greater significance as the last books are adapted, but it's been referenced a few times already, such as in the reptile room as they drive down Lousy Lane. They pass an apple orchard growing sour apples, next to a horseradish factory.
And it encircles a horseradish factory, so the entire area smells bitter and strong.
Horseradish being one of the few cures for Medusoid Mycelium poisoning. This is something which will become important when they adapt the Grim Grotto next season. Number 3. The Sugar Bowl.
But a sugar bowl?
A sugar bowl.
It's hard to believe something so small could cause so much wreckage and devastation.
Or the loss of so many lives.
The series begins with Count Olaf's desperate bid to steal the Baudelaire fortune, but eventually becomes about a frantic search for an enigmatic object called the Sugar Bowl, or the vessel for disaccharides, which contains something incredibly powerful. It doesn't become important in the show until Esme joins Count Olaf's acting troupe with the sole goal of retrieving it, either because of what it contains or because it seems to be missing from her own tea set.
What I don't have is the most important part of a tea set.
The teapot?
The sugar bowl.
But it's actually first mentioned way back in The Bad Beginning, when Olaf wonders aloud to himself about where his sugar bowl went.
I'm just having my morning coffee, although I can't seem to find the sugar bowl.
Number 2. Mrs. Bass's Blackboard.
May I have your undivided attention?
According to the executive producer, the blackboard in Mrs. Bass's classroom contains over a dozen Easter eggs. On it we can see a diving helmet from the Grim Grotto, a mushroom which could be Medusoid Mycelium, a bag of flour like the decoy Sunny, Snicket's briefcase, the VFD secret HQ map, the sugar bowl, an aqueous martini, a hot air balloon, lavender lighthouse from Lake Lachrymose, gorgonzola cheese referenced in The Bad Beginning, cat skeletons, like the carnival's starving lions, fried eggs, which are Aunt Josephine's favorite food, Klaus's spyglass, a ladle used in the book of the hostile hospital but not seen on screen, and finally some olive oil, which creator Daniel Handler is fond of. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
An eye exam is standard procedure for all my patients.
George Orwell's 1984. I feel like that eye is looking at me.
You look terribly young to be a doctor. Where did you attend medical school?
Welcome, I'm Justice Strauss of the City High Court.
You must come see me right away.
Number 1. Clues in the Tunnels.
I have the same dedication to researching and presenting this story no matter what dangers it puts me in.
The secret VFD tunnel system is filled with references to future characters and places.
All good, true, and decent people know that it's time to volunteer.
In the very first episode, we see important names like Quagmire and Snicket, Julienne, the Daily Punctilio's ace reporter, Remora, like the teacher with the sores at Proof Rock Prep, Spats as in Carmelita Spats, Montgomery for Montgomery, and Whistle for Josephine and Ike, the number 667 referencing 667 Dark Avenue, Wittershins meaning Captain Wittershins, a VFD member in the Grim Grotto, Lesko as in Mr. Lesko, a minor character in the Vile Village, Strauss for Justice Strauss, and finally Fernald, or the Hook-Handed Man.
Where are we gonna go now, boss?
To a vigorously fixed destination.
In Season 2, passages labeled denouement for Dewey denouement, Heimlich for the hostile hospital, Nero for the principal, and even one for the hinterlands where VFD HQ is are seen.
Why would there be a secret tunnel from an elevator shaft at 667 Dark Avenue to our home?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.